How does this story of the Red Bulletin begin? It starts out by finding that Formula One lacked a sense of humor. That was 2005. You maybe remember, 10 years earlier, Red Bull starts in the Formula One, joins as a partner of the Swiss Sauber team. But 2005, after the takeover of the former Jaguar Racing Squad, Red Bull starts with his own team, the so-called Red Bull Racing. And also Formula One racing at that time was a lot more easygoing than today, much more relaxed and less regulated. The atmosphere on the tracks have been very serious. So our Red Bull mastermind, Dietrich Mateschitz, enabled the magazine, the Red Bulletin, as a pit lane publication that was produced right at the track, before, during, and after the race. To do things that many others say are impossible or crazy, we like that challenge. And to overcome obstacles that are tricky to overcome has always been part of the DNA of the brand. And as mentioned, because the Red Bulletin is a sort of sister to Red Bull, we share the same DNA. The mantra, "all bets are off," has always been the catchphrase of the magazine and our whole project. If you start as a newcomer like we, you can't do distribution via newsstands only. So, except you want to invest a fortune and lose money. So we party in Austria with the biggest dailies. We had a sort of home field advantage because our company is an Austrian one. And we set up a deal which was useful for both sides. We contribute with a fresh, smart lifestyle magazine for free, and the partners contribute by enclosing the magazine on every first Tuesday every month. In Austria, that model gave us a monthly publication rate of 1.1 million copies. If you compare this with a total inhabitant number of 8 million, that's a reasonable number. So that brings us directly to the third point. Try to be different with your product. This is extremely important while dealing with your customer and user. What happens if you tell a story and nobody's listening or looking? So you name it. These are lost miles. So it's no surprise that we, of course, at the Bulletin, define the most effective channel for our stories. Mainly we use the magazine, but whenever possible or necessary, we produce spin-offs, as I've shown you already, for our web sister, redbulletin.com, and our various social platforms, which are maintained by an in-house department. We also invest a lot of time to define our target groups very carefully. Being an active style magazine for men, we know we are writing for men aged between 25 and 35, who are open-minded, success-oriented, sporty, who enjoy life. But in our office, we have a virtual picture of a virtual person hanging on a virtual wall, the prototype of the Red Bulletin reader. We not only know his age and his profession, but also his hobbies, his taste of music, his type of cars, his favorite brand of watches, his favorite type of girl, and what he will get her for her birthday. We know also his main character. He is a visionary thinker. His persistence, his humbleness. He has fun in competing. He has ambition. And whenever we are not sure if a story fits into our magazine or not, we ask ourselves, would he like it? And only if the answer is yes, the story gets thumbs up.
What are sort of some of the key takeaways or most important lessons for companies you think that where Red Bulletin and Red Bull is doing really well and that other companies need to do more of? Courage is one thing, that you're being courageous, because that's not always easy.
Yeah, it's not always easy, but I think that's an important first step. Trust in yourself. Have a good idea, trust in this idea. Find the right team to follow you. Don't be shy to fail sometimes. Stick to the topic. I think it's very simple things that end up in a fantastic result very often. Let's take the Bulletin as an example. The Bulletin starts 2005 as this little pit lane publication. Now, 11 years later, it's part of a media house with a couple of hundred people working for this. So 11 years are a very little span if you compare it to big media houses. So that's something that's worth to try, because you end up and you can see the result after some years, and you can go ahead and ahead. So it's just to reduce all your dreams to 5 or 6 or 10 rules. Stick to them, follow to them, and then be happy with the result for sure.
Yeah. So how would you sum up the philosophy of the magazine of Red Bulletin? How would you describe that philosophy?
It's all about storytelling. Journalism is all about storytelling. I mean, every journalistic piece that is produced in the world ends or starts with this little story. 2 guys sitting on a bar, and one guy is telling the other, "Have you heard this?" And he tells him a story. And this guy says, "Wow, I've never thought of this." That's the beginning of any journalistic product. And if you start with this, and if the story is interesting enough, the people, the users, the readers will follow it. That's it.